they actually told each other. Like, y'all, I love it. I'm a little bit disappointed.
You're getting more books?
No. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Caitlin, and make sure to subscribe. So as you can tell by the title, today I'm doing my February wrap up and my March TBR. I have read some exciting books this month and I'm so excited to talk about them, so let's just get right into the video. So starting off, I actually read this one in January. I was kind of in a book slump December and January, so this book was taking me a really long time, but yeah, I want to talk about it. Through January and February, I read the Crescent City series because the third book in Crescent City, House of Flame and Shadow, came out the very end of January, and so I really wanted to start the series. I'm not gonna go super in depth on the series because I did make 2 reading vlogs. I made a reading vlog of me reading these 2 books, which is spoiler free and then has a spoiler section. I have a reading vlog coming out reading this book. So starting off, Crescent City 1, House of Earth and Blood. So if you don't know by now, House of Earth and Blood is about Bryce, who is half human and half fae. So something terrible happens to her friend group that she had in college. It's so sad, but it happens at the very beginning of the book, and then it skips a few years later. What happened to them starts happening again. So Bryce and this other guy are basically put on this case trying to figure out what is happening, who is doing this, and how to stop it. So you're going along with her as she's dealing with that grief and as she's just juggling all that. This was my first urban fantasy. I really liked it, but I'm giving it a 4-star just because I didn't really connect with the main characters as much. For me, kind of like when they actually got together, I felt like the banter kind of like, it didn't disappear, but after they got together it kind of fell off for me, and it felt like their relationship kind of changed. There's still banter, but it's just not the same. I thought the plot was really cool, and Sarah J Maas always does a great job at, like, you think what's happening in this book is just like what's going on, but it turns out it's actually surface level and there's a ton more actually going on. I always applaud Sarah J Maas for that. I will say that I really like some of the other characters in this book more than the main characters. It's mainly just the main girl character. In some instances I kind of find her annoying, which I feel like bad saying that, but she's just like not a character I resonate with, I guess. On to the second book in Crescent City, which is House of Sky and Breath. I said in my reading vlog I think that I was giving this a 5-star, but now thinking back on it, I think I'm gonna give it a 4.75. The last 10 pages is a 5-star for me, but I cannot give it a 5-star because the rest of the book, I really love the ending. And I think even if you don't like this book, you have to read this. Just get to the ending. This book was mainly about 2 characters. This one started giving a lot more background to all the characters, so I really started to like all the other characters in this. A common theme in this series, for me at least, these books are like 800 pages each. The pacing is a little off for me because of course like the end is gonna pick up, a lot of things are gonna happen at the end, but it felt like this could have been 300 pages shorter, even 400 pages shorter. With Sarah J Maas books, there's a lot of depth that will mean more later in the series, and like it'll really hit you, and so I understand why she does that, but even then I feel like some of it could have been kept out. Like I didn't need to know a ton of stuff. There was a lot of like spice I feel like didn't need to be in the book. I saw one person, I think it was Haley Pham, she was reviewing the series and she was like, whenever the main characters are together, like she's skipping over it because it's just a spice scene or something. So it's like you can't really connect with the main characters because that's kind of all you're getting from them after they actually start being together. I think I started House of Sky and Breath in January, but I ended up finishing it in February, and then I moved on to House of Flame and Shadow. I was so excited for this book coming off of that. I will say I am a little bit disappointed. I feel like a lot of people had higher expectations for something in the series and it kind of fell short, in my opinion at least. I'll be doing my whole thoughts in the reading vlog, so you can watch that if you have read this book. There was just something I was really expecting to go more in depth, more of my favorite characters in this series. We just didn't, and it was really sad to me. You'll see in that reading vlog, like I kind of got upset and I like just put the book down today because I was upset about something that happened and something we didn't really get to see. I'm now settling on this book being a 4-star. I don't know what I gave it in my reading vlog. I really like how we got even more of some of the side characters in this. There's so many point of views, but it doesn't like tell you that the point of view is changing. It just kind of has a page break and then it goes into another point of view, but it's third person. Sometimes it's hard to tell that the point of view is changing. It kind of feels like it's all over the place because everyone's in a different place. You learn something, then it switches to the next point of view. You learn something, it just keeps on doing that, and so sometimes it can become a little overwhelming or even boring because you're being overwhelmed. I think it ended very well. There was like a tiny cliffhanger about a character, so I think the next book is going to be mainly about him. I'm really excited because he's one of my favorite characters. He reminds me of Lucian from Actar. I don't know, they just give me the same vibes kind of. So that's my thoughts on the Crescent City series. Again, I made a whole reading blog for them, so if you want more in detail and like all my thoughts if you've read the series, go watch those. Now we're going on to some romances. I've been like heavily reading fantasy for the past year. I literally read all fantasy and like magical kind of books all last year. Going into love month and this year I was like, I want to get back into romances, and so I picked up Icebreaker and I really like this book. I gave it a 4-star. This book is about Nathan and Anastasia. Nathan is a hockey player, Anastasia is a figure skater. Something happens, one of their rinks at their college ends up getting like destroyed or something, and the hockey team and the figure skaters all have to share a rink, and so they're running into each other. Everybody's kind of mad at each other. Nate and Anastasia start off on a bad note, but then they kind of start becoming friends and try to figure out everything with their athletic careers. Off the bat, for me, a little too much spice, so I did have to skip over that, but I felt like when I did skip over those things, it's not like I was missing anything. It was really cute. This is my fourth romance, which is hockey and figure skater. I thought the banter was super cute and fun, and one thing I love about Hannah Grace when she writes, you're not waiting the entire book for them to confess their love to each other. I feel like most of the time in romance books, you know the entire way through the book that they like each other, and you're just waiting for them to tell each other because they're literally like doing everything that a couple would do, but they just don't say I love you. They don't confess their feelings. They just act like they're friends, and that is so frustrating me. So something I really appreciated is when they started liking each other, they actually told each other. Like, they obviously were nervous and were kind of waiting until they really felt like the other one liked them too, but they said it. They didn't wait until here to say it. I just thought the found family was adorable. I love the house that they all have, and it's so cute. It makes me reminisce on being in high school. I know I'm in college, kind of the same age as some of these people in here. It feels like how I was in high school, having like a big friend group and all hanging out, and it was just adorable. Literally love that. It makes me want to cry because I'm like, I miss those days. I'm giving it a 4-star because it just didn't give me that 5-star feeling. But another thing I really like is how much it talks about like trauma and family issues. It's a really cute romance, but it also talks about a lot of real topics a lot of people struggle with, and I love how it talked about that. There was a lot of like relatable things in here for me. So the last book I read this month was Wildfire, and I'm just gonna start off by saying this book is a 5-star for me. I loved it so much. Y'all, I love it. Okay, you need to read it. So this one's also by Hannah Grace. I literally just finished it today. So Wildfire is about Aurora and Russ. Russ is a character from the Icebreaker book. It talks about a little bit, and you kind of get hints of him. He comes off as super closed off and shy. I love reading this book and finding out everything to do with Russ. They meet at this party. They think they're never gonna see each other again, but they end up running into each other at a camp that they're both working at during the summer. Kind of start ignoring each other at first, but then they become friends, start talking to each other more. Just like with Icebreaker, this one talks about family issues. I related with this book so much. That's why I gave it a 5-star. Like, literally, there's so many things I highlighted in this book because it just hit so hard for me. And also, like in Icebreaker, when they realize that they like each other, they tell each other. Since they're at camp, there is a rule. None of the staff members are allowed to date or fraternize. I don't know. They're trying to get to know each other, but they're having to kind of be sneaky with everything that they're doing. This book gives the summer vibes. Like, literally, I'm wanting to be a counselor at a camp now because this book is so cute, and I'm like, I need to go be a counselor. This is your sign to read this because it makes me so excited for spring and summer. And again, with the found family, I love it. It's so like nostalgic for me to like read about them. So that is my February wrap up. So now we're gonna talk about my March TBR. So let's head over to my bookshelves because I haven't even thought about what I'm picking up. I am filming a romance reading vlog, so I'm probably gonna be reading some romance, and I'm just excited to stay in the romance genre right now. I just recently got Binding and Keeping 13, and I really want to read these. The one thing is they're just so long, so I might wait because they're so long. I also have the Windy City series that I'm thinking about reading. Again, these are just kind of long. Lucy score books, but they're long again. One I do want to read, I'm hoping I can get to it, is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I have not read this yet. It's only 300 pages, so I kind of want to get to this book. Okay, I always forget about having Happy Place. So I kind of want to start Chestnut Spring series. Is that what it's called?
You're getting more books?
No, I'm just looking at books. Okay. TBR means what? I'm gonna read these two, and then there's one other that I need to get that I'm thinking about reading. Okay, we'll put my last one at Binding 13. That was everything I read in February, and that's my little March TBR. I don't know exactly if I'm gonna read those right now. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you like this video, and I will see you guys when I see you.